Hello and welcome to the 49ers First and 10 podcast, 10 minutes of the most up-to-date 49ers news first thing in the morning. I'm your host, Brianna McDonald. Joining me is 49ers team reporter, Lindsay Pilares. This week is the start of OTAs for many teams across the league, including the 49ers. San Francisco held their first day of OTA practice yesterday, and we're going to recap all of the biggest takeaways from the first day of practice on this morning's episode. So, Lindsay, what was it like to see a lot of the team back in the building?
Yeah, it felt like football season was almost back, right? It was great. There was a lot of veterans on hand, I will say. Not all of them were participating or suited up, but I will say in terms of notable attendees, we've got George Kittle, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. We saw Leonard Floyd, some of the offseason additions, Jordan Elliott, Yetur Gross-Matos, Raymond Johnson, Malik Collins not here, but head coach Kyle Shanahan said he's going to be in town as soon as his kids are graduated next week. So another free agent addition that's going to be in Santa Clara. So just a really strong presence here. I think that's always good for team morale and just general energy in the building. But yeah, it gives a little bit of pre-training camp vibes. And just to kind of review what this phase of OTAs is, it's the third phase of the 49ers offseason programming. It's still voluntary. What's different from phase 1 and 2 is that teams can begin 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 drills. Still no live contact, but it is just a step above what's been happening for the past few weeks in phase 1 and phase 2.
You know, Coach Shanahan said that it still feels like the 2023 season just ended. We're only about 3 months removed from playing in the Super Bowl. So what did the players say about processing a long 2023 season before turning their focus to a new year?
Yeah, I think it's different for everyone, right? And it kind of depends on each individual player's journey. But we heard from safety Jair Brown. He said he's still not over it because you don't forget a game like the Super Bowl and obviously the end result not being what you want it to be. But obviously he's here, he's practicing to a certain degree. He is moving on, but he did say he's processing through some of those emotions. Also heard from defensive lineman Nick Bosa, who said that, this was actually one of his better off seasons in terms of working out. And that's because that season extended so long, obviously, into mid-February. So he's really made a concerted effort to take it easy, rehab his body, get it in its best possible shape. He's here at OTAs. And then for Brock Purdy, a totally different offseason because this time last year, he was very much in the recovery process from an elbow surgery to repair a season-ending injury. So for him, it's a totally new phase, new off-season feel. So I think it depends on who you ask, but I think to a certain degree, the team is obviously turning the page and looking ahead to that 2024 season.
Yeah, Brock Purdy was seriously in a rehab phase during last year's offseason. This is Brock Purdy's first full offseason with the team. And around this time last year, he wasn't even throwing any passes. He was just visualizing what that was like. So what has he shared about how this time has helped him develop as a leader of this team?
Yeah, I think a year makes all the difference, and just his journey is in a much different place because he can actually go review the cut-ups with Kyle Shanahan and then go put that directly into practice on the field. He's been able to be part of this entire offseason workout. Head coach Kyle Shanahan said it's been great to just have him out there leading those drills, which really we were so far from that point this time last year because of that surgery that we talked about. And obviously, you get a year's worth of starting experience or an additional year, I should say, and you're in a totally different place. Head coach Kyle Shanahan said that it's just a continual stacking for Brock Purdy, and he continues to develop. He's entering year 3, but with, I feel like all the things he's been through in his first 2 years in the NFL, it feels so much longer. And he even said it too. He feels like one of those veteran players, especially as you get one of those rookie classes in here, a new class of free agents, and it feels like a totally different team to a certain extent. So yeah, he's in a totally different place, and I think he's feeling really good about it.
Definitely. Well, Lindsay, take us out to the practice field for the first day of OTAs. What did you think of the newcomers, the rookies? Did anyone stand out to you?
I will say the defensive line looks totally different. I had to frequently look down at my roster sheet and then also ask, like, who's that? Because I got so used to a lot of the jersey numbers, and it did get a shakeup. It was great to see Leonard Floyd out there, Yetur Gross-Matos, some of the bigger names that were signed in free agency. Obviously, Nick Bosa there. Always, like, you see him standing around and talking to guys, and I would assume offering tips. Obviously, I don't know what's, like, going on in those conversations, but he seems to really just be getting to know the guys, speaking with them out on the practice field, and getting those practice reps in with a new defensive line. But certainly a lot of revamping happened in free agency, so that was a different sight to see for sure. We saw Deebo Samuel Sr. in his number 1 jersey. That's going to take some getting used to, I think, because for Niners fans, for people that didn't know him during his South Carolina playing days, he's always been number 19.
Yeah, it was 19 problems.
Exactly, 19 problems, no longer. And it's actually Trent Taylor who's actually in that number 19 jersey, also a familiar face, but I haven't seen him since I've been here with the organization, so another new face for me at least. And yeah, I think George Kittle also, I think he may have cut his hair. I'm not 100% sure because he had a hat on, but I think there's a new look to George Kittle. He was not suited up for practice, but he definitely also was coaching up the tight ends. We saw Fred Warner out there as well, not suited up, but still here at OTAs, a good veteran presence. Saw Ricky Pearsall catch a pass from Brock Purdy. Also saw Josh Dobbs in action. So there's a lot of things happening. I tried to bounce around the field, but it's hard to be in all the places at the same time.
Definitely. I'm excited to get a closer look at all the players' new looks come media day very soon and see all the new numbers they're rocking, maybe some new hairstyles, so that should be pretty fun. With all the newcomers and rookies in the building, Jair Brown spoke about preaching 49ers culture, especially to the rookies. They're having their first days at 49ers HQ. What exactly is that 49ers culture, and how do you see it being displayed and installed during these early days?
Yeah, I think Jair Brown spoke to this point really perfectly. He said that he paid attention to the moves that the 49ers made during the draft, and he did so because he wanted to welcome that new class of rookies to this brotherhood, this family, the culture that is very well established here. And he said he wanted to pay attention so that he could reach out and make them feel welcome. I think that's such a great representation of the culture that you've got here in San Francisco. Jair Brown really, since the moment he stepped foot, has been on this campus, has kind of been that really friendly presence. And I'm sure the rookies very much appreciate that. And it's crazy to think that he's already in his second year. It doesn't feel like that long ago, but yes, there is a whole nother group of 8 rookies that were drafted plus undrafted free agents that are here trying to make their mark on the NFL, and I think they're getting a good splash of 49ers culture, which is a brotherhood, this attention to detail, really good work ethic. I think all of those things kind of embody the 49ers way.
Lovely. Well, faithful, that will do it for today. Follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to be in the know on all the latest official 49ers news. Also, check into 49ers.com for all the latest OTA updates. Also, turn on the notifications for any breaking news, move the chains updates. And thank you for tuning in.